Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
Welcome back, everyone, to Paranormal Stakeout. It is I, Larry Lawson, your host and guide on our continuing journey into the unknown as we attempt to find the answers as to what really exists on the other side. And as always, I'm coming to you from the headquarters of the X-Zone Radio and Television Broadcast Network out of Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. And I'm speaking to you from the southern command post of the X-Zone Nation in beautiful Vero Beach and Fellsmere in the good old U.S. of A. Really excited about the show tonight, folks. I think you're going to enjoy it. I have with us Mr. Greg Feketik. And Greg is the co-founder, along with his wife, Kathy, and he's also the lead investigator of the paranormal team Tri-C Ghost Hunters based in Ohio. Greg was a Twinsburg police officer for 29 years until retiring in 2011. He has been studying and investigating the paranormal since 1991 and has conducted over 250 investigations throughout the U.S., Canada, and Scotland. Some of his investigations and travels have taken him to some of the most haunted places in the world, including the Stanley Hotel in Colorado, the Crescent Hotel in Arkansas, Waverly Hills Sanitarium in Kentucky, and the Edinburgh Vaults in Scotland, just to name a few. Greg published his first book, Insights into the Unknown, A Ghost Hunter's Journey, in 2015, and his second book, Roads into the Unknown, A Ghost Hunter Journey, continues in the fall of 2018. He has also contributed to other paranormal books during his time. Greg also does lectures and presentations on the paranormal throughout Northeast Ohio, and he is currently the lead investigator at the Ohio State Reformatory in Mansfield, Ohio, and the former ghost hunt manager for the old St. Joseph Hospital in Lorain, Ohio, my old stomping grounds. So, Greg, welcome to Paranormal Stakeout, my friend.
Thank you, Larry. It's great to be here.
Yeah, I'm really anxious, and we'll get to this later on tonight. I want to talk to you a bit about Mansfield. That place holds a big interest for me. But a cop, so you're one of the family.
Yes, I am.
29 years when you came up through Twinsburg the entire time?
Yep, I spent my whole 29 years in one city, Twinsburg, Ohio.
Yeah, well, thank you for your service, my friend. It's a lot different world than when you and I started back then.
Oh my gosh, is it?
So cops, first responders, the paranormal. I am finding more and more often these days, how many of us really find an interest in the paranormal? How did you get started?
Gosh, man, I started pretty much when I was a young teenager. And it wasn't because of experiences. It was because I just thought UFOs and Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster were pretty cool. So I
Hmm.
used to read everything I can get my hands on. I mean, just the unknown, the mysteries really intrigued me.
Hmm.
So, that just segued over into the, hauntings and ghosts. And here I am now.
Yeah, all these years later, do you think? I mean, I look at my own self, and I find that my interest developed in the paranormal. Frankly, I had an experience as a young cop. That's what got me going on it. But it is that investigation into the unknown. I spent a good portion of my career as a detective. I know you did also, and
Hmm.
it's that investigation, that searching for the answers. I think that really intrigues me. Do you think that's a common theme throughout those of us in the LE field?
Yeah, I think so because I mean, here you have an unsolved crime that you're trying to put the pieces together
Hmm.
to, figure out what happened. That's basically the same thing, in the paranormal. You've got something that's unknown and you're trying to piece all the parts together to come up with a conclusion and a final answer to find out what really is going on.
And that's probably the greatest investigation any of us will ever embark on.
Oh, yeah.
Um, Now, have you ever had an experience on the job?
It's funny because I get emails, from the different TV shows, if asking if I have, and unfortunately, in 29 years, I never did. But I did. My first investigation was a fellow police officer's house.
Ah,
So I mean, they all knew that I was into it, and so I actually investigated, I think, 4 police officers' homes.
interesting. And they didn't want to send you for another psych eval or
No,
anything like that. Right?
no, no. Everybody, everybody thought it was really cool. I mean, nobody, ridiculed me about it or anything. They found it just as fascinating and interesting as I did.
Yeah, and I know you go on a call. You're in the middle of the night. You get a call for an alarm in a building. You get there's a motion alarm. You get there, the building's nice and tight. The air conditioning's not on. There's not anything in there moving. So what the heck set it off? Or you see that thing flash, on your peripheral, and you just you know. That's just my imagination. All
Hmm.
kinds of interesting things happen out there, at least. And I just find it very fascinating that so many of us, and I'm not just talking about cops, but also EMTs, paramedics, firefighters. I'm really shocked how many have an interest in it. On my team, I've got a retired firefighter, for example, and another former cop. So it's just
Yeah.
just interesting. Um, when did you have your first experience?
My first paranormal, I mean, I had an experience with a like swamp gas in my early teens.
Mm.
I didn't consider that paranormal and scared the crap out of us at the time. But
Uh-huh.
uh, but my first paranormal experience happened in 1997. 1997 at my sister's house in Missouri.
Okay.
Uh, what had happened? I was going through a divorce at the time, and I this was going to be my first Christmas away from my children. So I went then visited my sister, who lived in it was a house built in the 20s. It was a huge house. There were 3 floors. The top floor was like a ballroom, and I slept in the guest room. And they always told me that their weird stuff went on there. Well, I was sleeping in their guest room. And in the corner of the guest room were all these Christmas presents, in bags and packages and
Hmm.
stuff like that. So I got up in the middle of the night to use the facilities, went back and laid down. All of a sudden, man, those bags started going crazy. I mean, it was like somebody was rummaging, looking for their gifts. scared the living daylights out of me. So I hurried up and flicked on the light and sat up, and of course there was nothing there. And never could figure out what caused it. It didn't happen anymore nights that I stayed there, but I did find out that a couple months prior to my experience, my aunt and uncle were sleeping in the same room, and they had some bags and packages in that same corner, and the same thing happened to them.
Okay.
So there was other weird stuff going on in the house that they had experienced, but that was it. It's just, just couldn't explain it.
And you'd already been in and actually actively investigating for a few years at that point, correct?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I was reading everything I could and did a couple of small investigations. So yeah, and then we ended up investigating her house.
So you got a team, TC, Tri-C Ghost Hunters. What does Tri-C stand for? Tri-City?
Right now, Tri-C stands for Cleveland, Canton, and Columbus.
Oh, okay.
3 cities in Ohio. We are in the process of getting a new Cincinnati team. So I don't know if we're going to be like the Big Ten, still call ourselves Tri-C and have 4 teams, or we just may combine the Canton and Cleveland team. So we'll just be Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati.
Okay. So how large is your team? How many people, how many investigators do you have?
Right now, in all 3 teams, including what we have full-times and auxiliary part-time, we have 37.
37. Now, when you say full-time, this is what they do 40 hours a week?
No. We just, we distinguish our investigators from full-time investigators. Those are the ones who actually have criminal background checks that we do on them. And they are the ones that actually go into the private residences to do investigations. Auxiliary members, they help out at like conventions. We do a big paranormal and psychic fair every year, and they come out and help with that. Or if we do a fun investigation, like next month we're going to Waverly Hills, they come along for that.
Gotcha. Okay. So your full-time members, what kind of training do they have? Do you do the training yourself? Do they come to you trained? How does that work for your team?
It just depends. We interview people that want to join our team, and if they don't have any experience, and if we think that they're going to make a good fit, then we will train them. It'll just be like police work, on the job training, and other than that, right now we're trying to get members who have experience. Mm-hmm. But the only problem with that, though, sometimes you'll get members who have experience, but they do things a little bit differently than you do, or their beliefs are a little bit different. Our team does not believe in orbs at all. Okay. So, if you get somebody that, they really believe in orbs, then, okay, now we got to try to, figure out what we're going to do here. I guess I'll have to show them my presentation.
Yeah. Well, we're getting ready to take our first break. When we come back, I want to talk to you a little bit more about training and structure in the field and get your thoughts on that. Okay. So, folks, stay with us. I'm with Greg Feketik from Tri-C Ghost Hunters out of Ohio. So stay with us. We'll be back right after these messages.
It's hard to listen to the news without realizing we're living in volatile, unprecedented times. Yet never has there been such an opportunity to transform the human condition. As old structures fail, where can we find the guidance to co-create a better way? Find Your Path Home is an ever-evolving, leading-edge information, education, and healing resource center designed to support and guide you on your path to unity and enlightenment. Based on sound principles employed by shaman worldwide, we provide techniques that can support you through the current transitions, offering online shamanic classes, international long-distance shamanic healing sessions, complimentary Mission Evolution radio episodes and Stairway to Heaven TV vignettes, seminars, retreats, and much more. All of this can be found on findyourpathhome.com.
So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me. simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
And we are back on Paranormal Stakeout with my guest tonight, Greg Feketik from the Tri-Sea Ghost Hunters based in Ohio. Am I getting the last name right, Greg?
It's close. It's actually Feketik.
Feketik. Sorry
Yes.
about that. I want to make sure the folks hear that. Sorry.
It's not an easy name, so you're forgiven.
Thank you for that. Getting back to our discussion on your team and the training, let me ask this question first. Equipment. What kind of equipment do you guys like to use? What do you prefer? What don't you like? What works the best for you? Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay. Our team has almost every piece of equipment out there, from a thermal imager all the way down to like dowsing rods and pendulums. Right now, we actually have a couple team members who are building SLS cameras.
Okay.
And so, we're starting to use those. But for me personally, the majority of the evidence that I capture are EVPs. So I like to have an audio recorder with me. Mm-hmm. And it's gotten to the point where when I used to go out, now, I mean, private homes are different. We bring everything. But like if I'm investigating the Ohio State Reformatory, most of the time I just have a recorder, a digital camera, and myself. Mm-hmm. It's right now when I'm investigating OSR, I'm not there to try to prove anything. I just want to have personal experience.
Sure.
But
have you? Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go on.
Ohio State Reformatory. Has it ever been referred to as the Ohio State Prison?
No, it's been referred to as the Ohio State Reformatory or the Mansfield Reformatory.
Yeah, that's the way I've heard it. I just saw something that came across my desk a couple days ago and was talking about the Ohio State Penitentiary, and I thought it was actually Mansfield. But
yeah, there was an Ohio Penitentiary down in Columbus that is no longer there. So sometimes people get that confused with the reformatory.
Well, getting back to your work then, so you prefer the basic tools for yourself.
Correct.
What have you found works the best? I mean, of all the equipment, I know what you prefer to use, but what have you gotten your best evidence off of?
Well, like I said, the majority of the evidence that we capture are EVPs, electronic voice phenomenon. Mm-hmm. And when I do go around, I will have like a digital camera with me, or I'll have a GoPro on my chest. So just in case something does happen, I'll be able to capture it. But I mean, I've got evidence on, my video cameras, and rarely anything on, photographs. Rarely. I've taken about at least 30,000 photographs in all my investigations, and I have 12 that I would consider possibly paranormal. Mm-hmm. But audio, most of the stuff's audio by far.
Well, I kind of agree with you. I'm finding that in my opinion, I think that's where the next big breakthrough is going to come through. That's just my opinion in the field. I think that's where we're going to hit the next level, but only time will tell.
Right.
So now that with the equipment and everything, what kind of training do you guys do with your equipment? I mean, and the reason I'm asking is I have, and I'm sure you have too, come across folks that mean well perhaps, but they have no clue what those lights and whistles and bells mean on the equipment and what it's really telling them, other than, oh my gosh, there's a ghost here.
Right.
So what do you guys do to train your folks to understand the theories behind the equipment?
Well, it's funny that you ask that. I mean, generally, it's been on the job training where, we'll explain to our investigators, how this certain equipment works. But next month, we actually have a mandatory training meeting for our Cleveland and Canton teams up here to go over all the equipment. We're having all our members bring their equipment with them. And, we've got the new SLSs that we're going to be going over. So, we're just going to have a training session where we can go over everything. Because, I mean, everybody uses a K2, and everybody sees that flash and they get all excited and say, oh, my gosh, there's a ghost here. But, I mean, walkies set that off, cell phones,
Sure.
Police radios, cell phone towers. You got to be aware of your surroundings and, what's in the area. Like at the Ohio State Reformatory, there's one area as you go into solitary where the K2s always go off. And that's because there's a big electrical box right on the floor below in the basement. So, people go past there and like, oh, my God, look at this going all the way up to red. There's something here. No, there's an electrical box in the basement.
So you'd agree that training and having folks understand what all this means is important.
Very, very.
And you talk about your big training session that's excellent. I'm a big believer in that. What are your thoughts on standard, like in our business, in law enforcement? You go to the academy, you have a certain curriculum that you follow, you get out of the academy, you go through field training, now you take advanced training. And even though, a homicide in Twinsburg is going to be, there may be some rules that are different in Ohio than down here in Florida, but essentially you're going to investigate that homicide the same way.
Right.
Would you agree?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
What are your thoughts about doing the same thing in our field? Coming up with, everybody's going to ask questions differently. I mean, you may interview a suspect a little bit differently than I do, but we still have certain guidelines we got to follow.
Well, yeah. I mean, there are certain things that you have to be aware of. Mm-hmm. Take for example, doing an EVP session. Something as common and as simple as an EVP session when you're doing an investigation. Mm-hmm. It's like and we have training for this, and we, especially when I'm at the OSR leading some of the hunts, it's like, do not whisper during the EVP session. You have to call out every little noise you hear. I mean, if somebody's stomach growl, call it out. Because if you don't, it sounds demonic when you go back and listen to it.
Oh, you should hear my stomach growl. It does sound demonic.
Yeah. So, I mean, the basics, I think the basics everybody should do. I mean, like when we start it, we'll give the time, the location,
Excellent.
The location in the location, and we will have everybody present call out their names. So we know what everybody sounds like on the recorder. So yeah, it's something like that should be standardized as far as I'm concerned.
And I'm finding so many teams don't do it. And once again, a lot of times it's because just of lack of knowledge. You and I do this because that's what we're trained to do. But I think that type of standardization would allow teams all over the world, frankly, to do things in a standard way so that when we collect evidence, it can be looked at with a lot more credibility because you're following a standard procedure. Make sense?
Exactly. And my second book, I actually have a chapter in here called Techniques of the Investigation that we're actually going to be printing out and handing it out to all of our team members because it talks about, doing an EVP session, calling this stuff out. This is what you do. And, and that way, what you capture may be paranormal and may not be somebody yelling outside that you didn't see.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So folks out there listening, standardization training, it's vital if you're going to enter into this field with us. Ouija boards. Talk to me about Ouija boards. Is that part of your standard equipment?
Yeah, it's I've got my personal thoughts about Ouija boards. I know a lot of people swear that they're evil and they open these doors, and I say nay. And the reason I don't think so. Ouija boards were not considered evil or doorways to hell until a movie came out in, I think it was 1973, called The Exorcist. Before The Exorcist came out, Ouija boards were nothing but a game. Soon as that movie came out, I mean, everybody thought they were possessed. Everybody thought that Ouija boards were the worst thing ever created by man. And I don't think so, because what is the difference if you're sitting there with a game and a planchette that you're touching and you're asking questions, or using dowsing rods, asking the same questions, using a pendulum, asking the same questions, or doing an EVP session, asking the same questions? I see no difference in any of those.
It's amazing you mentioned that, because I'm personally not a fan of Ouija boards myself, for the reasons you discussed. But when you really look at what we do, there really isn't a difference. And I look for, I guess, the justification of, well, we're looking to see who's there, not conjuring. But when you get down to it, you're right. And that's something I guess we need to look at, because the Ouija board does have a bad rap. But that's an interesting take on it from you.
It does. And here's why too. A lot of people believe Hollywood. Hollywood comes up with a lot of stuff that they make up that people actually believe as the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you can't believe Hollywood. Movies are just entertainment. It's not the truth.
Yeah. Well, look at all the cop shows out there. You can solve a homicide in 35 minutes, right?
Exactly.
And I know you've had that before. Well, they got fingerprints on the TV show. Why can't you get them right now?
Exactly. You hit it right on the head.
Well, listen, we're getting ready to take our next break. When we come back, I want to talk to you about evidence and chat a few minutes about that. So, folks, stay with us. We've got some interesting topics to cover here. So we'll be back right after this message.
They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Ellie Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
And we are back for round 3 of Paranormal Stakeout tonight with my guest, Greg Feketik. Is that a little bit better?
That was perfect.
Okay.
All right.
Greg Feketik from the Tri-C Ghost Hunters based out of Northern Ohio, my old stomping grounds. So, Greg, when we were talking in the last segment there, we were discussing a little bit about your team. I want to talk a little bit about evidence. You've told me that you're big into the EVPs. That's your favorite or most productive type of evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Correct.
What is the most paralyzing, the scariest piece of evidence you've ever uncovered?
Well, I mean, I'm one of these people where I pretty much don't see anything. We've investigated a couple places. Like I used to be the ghost hunt manager at the old St. Joseph Hospital, where a lot of apparitions have been seen. Well, I never got to see an apparition, or people get to see these, shadow figures, and I never got to see one of those. But I do have a lot of physical, for lack of a better term, attacks. Mm-hmm. And some of those have been pretty, for me, terrifying. The most terrifying one that I've ever encountered was at a haunted location called the Rhodes Hotel in Atlanta, Indiana. Mm-hmm. And the first night that we were there, we were investigating. My wife and I were investigating up in the second floor. And we heard a noise coming down from the far end of the hall. So I went down to investigate, and I went into this one bedroom. It's called the Madame's bedroom. Back in the 20s, 30s, it used to be a brothel. So, prostitutes used to hang out there. And this apparently was the Madame's bedroom. So I went in there, stood there, listened, nothing. Started walking out the door. And as soon as I walked out the door, it felt like I had my throat slashed.
Interesting.
Immediately, a burning, painful sensation across my throat. I like yelled, and then I just put my hands to my throat, and I couldn't say anything. I was just gasping. My wife come running, and she's like, "What's going on? What?" And I'm like, I couldn't say anything. I'm just holding my throat with my eyes as big as quarters. Eventually, the pain subsided, and I told her what had happened. But that was probably the most harrowing experience that I've ever had.
Now, has the history of the establishment substantiated anybody with that type of neck injury there?
See, that was one of my thoughts. Was I feeling some residual energy that happened, 100 years ago? Was somebody stabbed there? Now, I know there were stabbings and shootings and deaths and stuff like that, but I'm not, of course, back when it was a brothel and a speakeasy, nothing was, documented or reported, because all that stuff was illegal back there during Prohibition. So that would be, kind of hard to find out. But I do know that apparently the madame didn't like men.
Okay.
So, who knows? Now that was the first time that we were there. The second time that we went, you could actually spend the night and sleep in those rooms. So the second time we went, my wife wanted to sleep in the madame's room, and I'm like, oh, awesome! This is going to be fantastic. I'm going to sleep in a room where she doesn't like me. Well, come that night, while I was sleeping, woke up with a really intense pain in my side. It almost felt like I got slashed or stabbed again in the side. So the next night we stayed there, I begged for her not to hurt me anymore, and I slept okay that night.
Well, and those are the types of pieces of evidence, if you will, or experiences that make it so tough for us to prove the existence of, because you don't record it. It's something that's happened to you.
Right.
But when you collect evidence, say it's an EVP, what do you guys do with it? How do you preserve it? What do you do to share it yet keep it sterile, if you will?
Okay. What I do, I mean, we don't share it online. I know a lot of teams do, and actually, I was thinking about posting some of our evidence online, but a lot of the evidence too that we get from private homes or private businesses,
you really can't.
Yeah, well, we can. You just can't say the location or anything. I mean, if you got an EVP and you're like, "What's your name?" and it comes back and say Michael, that's not gonna, give away the location. No, what we will do, we'll do the reveal with our clients, and if we do get anything, we'll give them copies of it and explain to them why we think it could possibly be paranormal. We never say anything is definitely paranormal because, you don't know. But what I do presentations on the paranormal, throughout, Northeast Ohio. And that's where I like to educate people. And my presentation is based off my books, and I do have a lot of evidence, from my investigations. So I do that, and there's always skeptics in the crowd, and it's like, what, I understand you're a skeptic, but please come up with a logical explanation for some of the stuff that I'm going to show you and let you hear. If you can come up with a logical explanation, I'd be more than willing to listen. But nobody can. They all just sit there with their, mouths open and their jaws drop because some of the stuff is kind of amazing.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Some of the stuff that I've been able to collect. But what do you do with this evidence? You investigate a house, you get a really clear Class A EVP, and it's unmistakable. You've been able to show that it wasn't anybody else in the room. What do you do with that piece of evidence, and where does it sit 5 years from now, or does it?
I actually save every piece of evidence that I've ever had, and I actually have everything on external hard drives on my computer. Or, back when I first started, we all, had the little mini cassette tapes.
Sure.
And I have those filed away. So pretty much everything I have is just filed away.
Now, I'm thinking in cop mode right now.
Right.
Does anybody else have access to it? For example, could somebody else get to it, and could you take it to court and not have a defense attorney say, what's the chain of custody here?
Nobody else has access to it. I guess my wife would, if she knew where the stuff was at. Or if somebody, got into my computer and was able to find it, or broke into my house and went.
I mean, there's
saw
always
my files. Right. Yeah. So yeah, it's secure enough that I'm satisfied.
What I'm getting at, I guess, in a roundabout way, is what are we as a field, as an industry, for lack of a better term, doing with this evidence so that other people could use it? For example, I believe you told me you do things like we do, moon phases, solar flares, temperature, weather. If you're getting a piece of evidence that occurs under these circumstances, and I get something that is similar down here in Florida under very similar circumstances, wouldn't it be great if I could somehow nexus that information and put that together to say, hey, look, it happened up in Ohio, it happened here, conditions were essentially the same. Have we got something here?
Yes, I like that, where people could submit, the date and time that they captured it, humidity, the barometer, temperature, the moon phases, any solar flares, anything like that, and put it into one area where you could, search all those and see if you get a correlation. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, well, and that's something that I'm working on that, and that's part of my big vision. I mean, we've got lots of folks out there that enjoy it, and I'm not going to take that away from them. They go out on the weekends just to have fun, but there's got to be a point where we are trying to find out what this really is. Is it the afterlife? Is it the Einstein's theories of parallel dimensions? Is it our own minds making this up? I mean, and maybe I'm being a little pie in the sky, but I would like to see us get into a direction where we could come to some resolution at some point.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I would love that. I mean, for the stuff that I have, I mean, I would think I would submit it with the information I have.
Sure.
Of course, back in, when I first started investigating, we didn't have these cell phones where, if I go to a residence now, I just go to my weather app and take a snapshot of it. It gives me all the information right there.
Sure,
so
it's easy.
It is a lot easier right now. Of course, I mean, my first investigation was with a big giant VHS camera, with no night vision.
Or how about using a compass to check for EMF fields, something like that. Right. So times have changed. But that's the other thing too, Greg. We have done almost nothing in the field to advance the techniques that we're using. Oh yeah, sometimes we'll get a prettier looking EMF detector, or maybe a fancier new voice recorder. But what have we really done in our field to advance to the next level? And
nothing that I can think of. I mean, the only advancements are like you said, hey, I come out with this new piece of equipment.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much it. But
well, we're getting ready to take our next break. When we get back, though, I want to talk to you about a topic called paranormal tourism, and this is where the Reformatory and the old St. Joseph's is going to come into play. So, folks, stay with us. We're going to talk about paranormal tourism when we come back.
They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Ellie Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
Christopher Fulton is a survivor of the national security state. All he wanted to do was preserve history when he acquired a Cartier watch from the estate of President Kennedy's personal secretary. But that simple act set off a terrible chain reaction. He was pursued by the U.S. Justice Department and the FBI, thrust into the middle of the U.S. government's Assassination Records Review Board, even monitored and pursued by the Russian government. All because that Cartier watch was the missing link of evidence, a timepiece worn by JFK that fateful day in Dallas, a link resulting in Christopher being incarcerated and attacked for 9 years because he opened a hidden chapter in history. The intriguing journey outlined fully in Christopher Fulton's memoir, The Inheritance, is available now through TrineDay.com or Amazon.com. The Inheritance, Poisoned Fruit of JFK's Assassination by Christopher and Michelle Fulton is a must-read, an incredible tale of how easily our own government can overrule justice. The Inheritance, Poisoned Fruit of JFK's Assassination.
And welcome back for this final session here tonight on Paranormal Stakeout with my guest, Greg Feketik. I butchered it again, Greg. Sorry, but
No, that was good. That was good.
Okay. He's with the Tri-C Ghost Hunters based in Ohio. Now, are you out of Twinsburg, Ohio?
No, I'm out of North Ridgeville, Ohio, which is on the west side of Cleveland.
Gotcha. Okay. Invite you to take a look at Greg's website at www.tchio.org. That's tcghohio.org, and you can find all about Greg's team and what they're doing. Also would like to invite you to go to www.xzbn.net. That's the place to go to find all the great programming on the X-Zone Radio and Television Broadcast Network and find out what's going on at Command Central in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, and hear all the great shows. Also, check me out at www.paranormalfbi.com. That is my team's website, and you can catch me here on the show at www.paranormalstakeout.com. So let me know your thoughts out there, folks. Send me some notes and tell me some topics you'd like to hear. Greg, in our last few minutes together, and we could be talking about stuff all night, so unfortunately got to condense a lot of this, but
right.
Part of what I do down here in Florida, I've got the Florida Bureau of Paranormal Investigation. That's my team. My outreach, as I like to call, is Indian River Hauntings, where I do something similar to what you do up at the Reformatory. I teach people. I try to show them what this field is and what it's not, as well as give them history and teach them a little bit about the paranormal. You're working in the Ohio State Reformatory. I mean, people have gone. I mean, my brother still lives up in Toledo, and that's his dream to come down and visit you.
Mm-hmm.
This world of paranormal tourism, folks coming and wanting to experience. I can't really say investigate because it's really an experience for them. Right. How does that work at the Reformatory? What type of people will show up? Do you have folks that are repeat customers? Do you get a lot of new folks every time? How does your situation work up there?
We do get a lot of repeat customers, but it still amazes me the amount of new people that come through the Reformatory, people that have never been there before. It's just amazing. And we got, you got your new people who have never done an investigation before, and they're doing some of our public or private ghost hunts. And then you got the experienced ones who come there, 3-4 times a year, it seems.
Wow. I was just talking to someone the other day, and actually in the entertainment business, and he made the comment that there seems to be a resurgence. I don't know if there is or isn't in the in Hollywood with the shows, but I will tell you this: I have the same thing you're having there. I get new people all the time that want to come and learn and find out what it's about, kind of discover what the unknown is. Mm-hmm. And I have not seen a drop off, which kind of surprised me.
No.
And you're not either, I guess.
No. Like the next, let me see, we got Thursday. I'll be there Thursday night. I'll be there Saturday night. I'll be there Sunday night. I'll be there Monday night. and those are all, ghost hunts that people have booked. Sometimes I'm there 4 times a week, and there's one time where I'll be there, 5 times in a row, just for people who have, booked their either private hunts or public hunts. It just amazes me. And I think that it died down for a little, when ghost hunters first came out. I mean, it was, skyrocket. Everybody wanted to investigate, and it was really cool. And then Ghost Adventures came out, and it, went up higher. But then everything slowly died down. And now there's a resurgence. You got the Travel Channel that all their programming now is paranormal. And you've got all these, paranormal movies coming out. So there's a spike again. It's just like in police work. You go through those years where people
it's
like...
all cyclic.
Yeah, yes, it is.
Yeah. How do you keep it real, Greg? I've talked to folks in different places, and to them it's just a show. To them it's just it strictly is, and it is entertainment. I'm not going to deny that, but to them it's just, we're just doing it to make a buck. How do you keep it real?
Well, for one thing, we don't make bucks on our private resident investigations. Most paranormal teams, you don't charge.
Right.
But
like at the reformatory.
How do you keep it real? I just love seeing people's expressions when they come in, just the excitement, I'm there all the time, and I do have experiences, but I don't get excited. I keep it logical. And I think that's a big factor. In the paranormal field, you have to be logical in all this stuff. There has to be logical explanations. Being police officers, there's got to be logical explanations, for everything that happens. Sometimes you can't find those logical explanations.
Right.
And it's just, I just keep it real and honest with our guests.
Okay. And the reason I'm asking this is one of the terms that I use with folks that I'm taking on tours that we have at our events is ghost hunting's like fishing. Sometimes they're biting, sometimes they're not, and I can't control it.
Yeah. Well, what we say to the people is, our ghosts are not on the payroll here.
Okay.
So, we cannot guarantee that they're going to want to come out and interact with you. But what I always do when I open up before a hunt, I always talk with them. I'm like, hey, we got a new group coming in. Let's give them a good show. It's like trying to, psych them up. And then at the end, regardless if anything happens or not, I'll walk throughout the building and as I'm closing up and thank them.
That's very similar routine to me. What about the phonies out there? There are people out there, and I'm sure you've probably run into them. I have. They're just flat charlatans.
Yes. Oh, gosh. Don't get me started.
Well, I want to get you started because I want to know how we can do this honestly and police ourselves. So give me your thoughts.
Well, if we have those, and I've had people at the reformatory, and I had this one guy, and he said that he does like how many? It was like 300, 400 investigations a year.
Gee.
And I'm like, what? I'm like, so you're telling me that you investigate every day of the week for 52 weeks? Yeah, I do. I'm retired. This is all I do. Nah. And I basically told him, I'm like, there's no way. Every other group I talk to or person, it's like, there ain't no way that that guy's doing, unless he goes to a cemetery, walks around and says it's an investigation. But, it's like, come on, be real. Don't try to make yourself any better than anybody else. You think because you got way more investigations, that makes you more experienced? No, it kind of makes you look bad if you ask me.
It does, and that goes in again to the training and standardization aspect I was discussing earlier. I mean, if we all agreed to a certain level of standards and what it took to conduct an investigation, what an investigation really was, I think we could also monitor that a whole lot better. But what worries me are people that conduct events and tours that truly aren't dedicated to the field, aren't interested in the field, and they're just in it for a fast buck. And I'm not talking about the home investigations.
Right.
I'm talking about putting on events.
Yep.
I came across somebody not too long ago, and I can't go into any details, but the guy looked at me, told me he was a member of our business, and he had to get out because of an injury in the line of duty, and it was a lie.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lie. And obviously cut ties with that situation. But there are folks out there, and I think we need to be, if we're going to not only investigate, but also share our knowledge and our experience with the public, we need to be able to police ourselves. Would you agree?
Yes. And in fact, I was just, I was at a public hunt on Saturday night, and there was a couple people that, I showed around for a little while. And they were like, other places that we've been, I'm not saying names, but every little noise or K2 goes off, they're like, ooh, look, that's paranormal. There's a spirit right here, right now with you. Mm-hmm. And they're like, and that's not how it is. And we like how it is here because you're not sensationalizing every time a K2 goes off. Mm-hmm. And there are all those people that I don't know if they're trying to make their place seem more active and more haunted than other locations by telling people because your K2 went off, well, there's a ghost standing right there beside you, or it's just that they are not educated and trained into how to use some of the equipment.
And there could be a little bit of both. Well, yeah. We're about done. I hate to say we're about done, but I got to ask you a quick question. On the job, you ever caught somebody trespassing and ghost hunting at the same time?
I've caught people in cemeteries, yes.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Greg,
right.
I really appreciate you being with us tonight. Folks, it was a great show. Folks, thanks for joining us tonight. Be with us next week for another great guest and another great show. And until then, we'll see all of you on the other side. Have a good night, folks.
If you are looking for a safe, zero-calorie, natural option to the harmful artificial sweeteners on the market today, Just Like Sugar is what you're looking for. Just Like Sugar is a wonderful natural alternative for those health-conscious people who choose a calorie-restricted diet with a great, pure, sweet flavor that tastes just like sugar. Just Like Sugar is a great natural option for people suffering from diabetes and may be useful in restricted diet programs where standard sugars are not allowed and does not cause a laxative effect of some other sweeteners. Just Like Sugar comprises a perfect blend of chicory root fiber, natural calcium, natural vitamin C, and Just Like Sugar's sweetness comes from the natural flavors from the peel of the orange. Just Like Sugar is a natural alternative to harmful artificial sweeteners and will change the way that you believe all natural sweetener products taste. Just Like Sugar is available at your local Whole Foods markets, Wild Oats markets, Henry's, Sun Harvest, and many other fine natural food stores in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide. They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Ellie Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.